Is the mentality of MI6 and CIA, and I'll throw Mossad in there, and you can take Mossad out if you think it's irrelevant to the rest of the question, Ray, but is the mentality of the operations branches of those entities, not the people that analyze data like you and Larry, but the people who did what Jack Devine did, stage coups and overthrow governments. Is that mentality such that they would participate in, facilitate, or look the other way as innocents were slaughtered? I mean, these people in the theater were totally and utterly innocent of any known wrongdoing, and most of them were young people. Would the American government, the British government, the Israeli government allow their intelligence, senior intelligence people to behave that way?
They would. Now let's accept the Israelis here, put them aside. The British and the Americans, some of their operatives in Ukraine undoubtedly knew what Budanov, if he's behind this, and Victoria Nuland had in mind.
Who's Budanov?
Budanov is the head of military intelligence. He's the guy that specializes in these kind of what the Russians used to call mokrie dela, wet operations. Okay,
he's in charge of military intelligence for Ukraine.
That's correct. Yeah, okay. Budanov. Right.
Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead, please, Ray.
He is Russian, by the way. His parents were born in Russia. Anyhow, so he's the guy. He would be the interlocutor with Victoria Nuland last time she was there. And again, that very curious interview that she gave just before she got back on the plane. It was not in any office or in any studio. It was on a street. And she improvised. She said, there are going to be nasty surprises for Mr. Putin. Well, you know, your commentators under Larry and my thing on Friday were very perspicacious because they immediately said, "Oh, remember what Nuland said." Half of them put together right away. So, yeah, I think that it's not a stretch.
But the mentality of that branch of intel in MI6 and CIA does not have moral qualms about knowingly allowing innocents to be slaughtered, no matter what kind of an oath, to what kind of a constitution, to what kind of moral values they have sworn.
The CIA and MI6 are out of the control of their political leaders. In this case, I would imagine that even Director Burns is not fully informed of what these guys do. They have plenty of money. They have plenty of capabilities with armaments and so forth. They're free to do what the hell they want to do. If they get a nod from Victoria Nuland, not necessarily from President Biden, they'll do it because they can. These are the same guys that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Okay? They'll do it because they can. And there's no rein-in on this. The president is authorized by the National Security Act 1947. It says that the director of intelligence, director of central intelligence can perform such other functions and duties as the president can from time to time direct. So the president is sort of the head of this Gestapo. He's not answerable to anyone. And the Gestapo itself doesn't always tell the president what's going on. Doesn't even tell the Secretary of State. I don't know what happened in this case, but it wouldn't put it past the folks on the ground there in Kiev, not necessarily the folks on the ground in Washington, to know what was being planned and not at all be surprised and be prepared immediately with a cover story. We didn't do it. Ukraine didn't do it. We know who did it. It was ISIS.